Hello coaster lovers. So if you know me, my home park is Kings Island. But if you didn't know, Kings Island is my home park. Kings Island is a special place to everyone, and it features many roller coasters such as Orion, Diamondback, Vertigo, The Bat, and Mystic Timbers. And that is just a taste of the park's lineup. But there's one roller coaster there that is very special to me, and that is Banshee, the B&M invert at the park. This roller coaster actually made me get interested in the theme park industry, and today I'm going to review this life-changing roller coaster. So this is my review of Banshee at Kings Island. Welcome to Kings Coasters. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you like amusement parks and thrill rides, this channel is for you, and it would be great if you subscribe to this channel. And also, 93 of the viewers are still not subscribed, and we're getting pretty dang close to 50 subscribers. That can be a milestone, and it can make this channel hit it. But anyways, let's begin the video with its history. If you don't know what it is, you will learn something. So let's get started. So Banshee is a B&M inverted roller coaster, which means the train is below the track if you didn't know, and it's located at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. Banshee is known for being one of the scariest roller coasters in the world, says Google. And it is the longest inverted roller coaster in the world, at a whopping 4,124 feet. That's pretty long. And that will lead us into the stats. So the max height is 167 feet, or 51 meters tall, and the top speed is 68 miles per hour, or 109 kilometers per hour. And I already mentioned the track length. And the duration is exactly 1 minute, and that is calculated by when the train goes over the first drop, then hits the brakes. And also, this is the only B&M invert to feature vest restraints. You can find these on dive and wing coasters by B&M, such as Gatekeeper or Cedar Point, which I've done. But over the years, it did start to form a rattle, but we'll get to the ride experience later. Let's go to the presentation. So while walking up to the ride, it looks nice. I love the logo right in front of the coaster, and there's some smoke effects, which is pretty cool. Then you enter the queue line. There's some tombstones around the front part of the queue. The most eye-catching is the one for Son of Beast. Then it could be a 30-minute wait or an hour or 30-minute wait, which depends on the day you're visiting. Then you enter the station, and you say, "Dang, I haven't been to church in ages." It's because the station is a church. Then you get assigned a row, but the crew does accept row requests. And fun fact, this was the first roller coaster that I've ever requested a row, but it wasn't my first ride. It's my fourth ride. And also, I've ridden this coaster 6 times, but not all in a row. But shooting back to the station. The gates open up, your heart is pounding, and you pull on your vest, and your heart's not pounding anymore. Then get dispatched, and that will lead us into the ride experience. So you turn to the left, very anticlimactically. Then you ascend the 167-foot lift hill. It's a steep one. Then you crest the apex, and you hear this Banshee scream. It gives me nostalgia, which is kind of weird. Then you swoop down to the right. It is a very fun, free-falling sensation. But you're in the back, you just get whipped down the drop. Then you traverse into the first inversion, which is a dive loop. Then the ride takes a photo at the bottom of the inversion. Then you go into a very unique part of the ride, which is a loop wrapped around the lift hill. Only a few roller coasters have that. Kumba at Busch Gardens Tampa is an example of that. Then you go into a slow 0G roll. It's near perfect, but I feel like it's a little bit too slow, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Then you dive down into a ravine. Then you roam into the world's only pretzel knot, which is a dive loop connected with an inlet. One other roller coaster had that inversion, but it closed in the new millennium of 2000, and that is Moonsault Scramble at Fujiku Highland in Japan. And before we move on, if you want to learn more about Japanese roller coasters, so let's click the card above. Anyways, then you go into the second loop. Then you bank to the right. Then after that, you go to a slow inline twist. The hang time can be fun or it can be painful. It depends how hard the vests are crushing you. Then you twist to the left and maneuver a 270-degree helix. And you bank slightly to the left, and then that's your ride experience. Now we're going to move on to the layout. So if we're thinking of the layout, it's a good one. It has 7 inversions packed into 4,000 feet of track. But the problem is that there aren't really a lot of non-inversion elements on this roller coaster, just a bank turn and a helix. So if you took those 2 elements out of the ride, the entire layout will be inversions. But this is Kings Island's main multi-looper. The only other roller coasters that go upside down in the park, and they are Flight of Fear with 4, and the aforementioned Vertigo with 3 or 6, but I'm not going into the argument of that. But if I had to rate the layout, I give it a 6. I love the inversions, but I wish there was another helix. That is all for my thoughts on this roller coaster layout. And speaking of thoughts, I'll give my thoughts on this ride. Does it sound like I'm saying thoughts too much? It probably is saying thoughts too much. Anyways, thoughts. So if I think of it, this ride is beautiful in Kings Island. It's just a plain fun roller coaster. I just describe it as just plain fun. Just plain fun. And the inversions are the focus on this roller coaster, and there are a lot of them. But there are 2 main things I just don't like about this ride. and these are the negatives. You might have seen this on a previous video, and this might give you deja vu, so skip ahead if you want. Anyways, 1. The rattle. At the lower part of the ride, known as valleys, it's just unbelievably shaky, but I wouldn't describe this ride as rough though. 2. The restraints. It just holds you hostage for the entire ride, but I could look past that, because I rode 4 roller coasters with these restraints, known as vest restraints, and 2 other roller coasters I've ridden with these restraints is Valraven and the aforementioned Gatekeeper, both at Cedar Point, but shifting back to Banshee. But this ride is so much fun. I have a blast riding it, and it's an enjoyable roller coaster. But it's all my thoughts on this roller coaster, and now the key moment, the final score. So for the final score for Banshee, I give it an 8 out of 10. Where I had to take off 2 points is the restraints, rattle, and a little bit of the layout. But is it worth to drive out to Kings Island, experience Banshee? And honestly, I think so. Banshee is just a plain fun roller coaster. And where I rank it in my top 15, it went down, which is kind of negative. If you've seen the top 15 video, Banshee's placed at number 11. And now it is not in my top 15 anymore. And the exact placement of it is number 16. But that is all I have to say for the final score. And that will finish up today's video of my review of Banshee at Kings Island. If you like this video and got a little bit excited, I have a lot more content coming out for you. And if you want to see it as soon as one of my videos uploads, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be notified, I'm going to sound like a YouTuber. Click the bell to get notified every time I upload. And what are your thoughts on Banshee? And if you want to share your thoughts, any video suggestions, anything I missed, and pretty much anything else, sign off in the comments below. And it's time for the best part of the video, the bloopers. And make sure to keep the adrenaline pumping, and I'll see you in the next video. Says Google. So you turn to the left very anticlimactically. Then you ascend the 100. And before we move on, if you want to learn about Japanese roller coasters, just click the card above. Anyways, then you go into the second loop. Then you bank to the right, and after that, you go into a slow inline twist. The time can be fun or it can be painful. It depends how hard the vests are crushing you. Then you twist to the left and maneuver a 270-degree helix. And you bank slightly to the left, and that's your ride experience. Now we're going to move on to the layout. But the problem is that there is a not. So if you took those 2 elements out of the ride, the entire layout will be inversions. With this, so if you took those 2 elements out of the ride, the entire layout will be inversions. But this is Kings Island's main multi-looper. The other roller coasters that at the And if you want to see it as soon as one of my videos uploads, subscribe to the channel. If you want to be notified, I'm going to sound like a YouTuber. Click the bell to get notified every time I upload. What are your thoughts on Banshee? And if you want to share your thoughts, any video suggestions, anything I missed, and pretty much anything else, sign off in the comments below. And it's time for the best part of the video, the bloopers. And make sure to keep that adrenaline pumping, and I'll see you in the next video.